What's up, everybody? Berserker Bear coming to you for another live session, Q&A, open forum, as it says in the description. I just shared it at a couple places. Just like to see what you guys thought about my recent couple videos about new series, Bushwhacking Tartaria with Berserker Bear, Jordan Bear, my guest, whenever he's available, my brother-in-law, Jordan Bear, will be a guest appearance anytime he's available. But this is more of a Q&A open forum. I like to get your ideas and your thoughts and see what's going on. Hey there, Laura Bear. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. You're always a big help. I love your videos too. Love them. So yeah, this is like a Q&A. I really don't have a script. I really never do. I have some cool stuff I'd like to show you and to get bounce ideas off of you guys with some old school gravy here, some old books. So I like to talk about some truth drops, possibly in movies. I have something I like to collect are some of these busts right here. I'm not sure if you can see them. This right here is the Darkness from the movie Legend, not the one with the dude from Venom, man. What's his name? Tom Hardy. Not the one with Tom Hardy. The old school movie Legend with Tom Cruise. I believe it's Tom Cruise's first movie. Darkness. Get some ideas. You guys have some questions. Remember that guy? One of the sickest characters, devil characters, I think, in all of cinema. This is Marv from Sin City. Originally, it's a graphic novel made into the movie Sin City. Super cool. Truth drop there would be cannibalism in the highest places. You know, Rutger Hauer character. Oh, hi, Rachel. Hey, hi, babe. Laura Bear. Rachel is my wife. So what we got going on here? Oh yeah, you got a wrench. I modded you, Laura Bear, for sure. Okay, so yeah, if you guys have questions, please ask questions. I have some cool stuff I'd like to show you in one of these books. Definitions for Tartaria in these old books that are super old school. Reference book right here for architecture. As far as types of architecture, styles, of course, I can't find them right now. Here you go. Greek style, Roman style. These are the exact type buildings that we're researching, and also towers. That I just dropped a video about. And man, you know, Michelle Gibson, I strongly recommend you guys go check out her channel. If this is anything, it's just putting things that I said this before. I am not a geologist. I am not a biologist. I'm just a researcher interested in all this stuff. I used to be super into astronomy. I have a very unique background as far as that's concerned because I don't believe in that anymore, but I was super into it. I have so many books that I'm going to try to have a sacrificial burn. This one needs to go. Gots to go. Yeah, look up a synopsis on this book. I've read this book and back when I was under the spell, right? Hello, everybody. Man, trying just to explain away the firmament and under God's creation. I'm not going to be touting theology or my religion here. I grew up Catholic, more of a Christian now with my family, is what it is. Big part of breaking the spell for me, this space spell, was Big Bear. Dave Weiss at DITRH. The Taboo Conspiracy 2. So yeah, what I was saying is, if this is anything, this is a reference point for you guys who are interested. That's a good a reference point for your guys' interest in these kind of rabbit holes, whether it's, I mean, flat Earth and the ice ring in Antarctica, and where I think that where stuff that I get information from, because I said it before, I don't mind that I have a lot of books here, and I've read a lot of books. I've read all these books, guys, about space. I've read all these books. There goes Hawking, Universe in a Nutshell. I mean, a briefer history of time. Where's Universe in a Nutshell? Right here. I've read all these books. Have them, I want to. I think it's great when Big Bear burns these books. And I'm not saying nothing. They're my books. I bought them. Although these ones I from the Kenmore Library. I said that before. Never returned them. I wrote a research paper about black holes, and I was so into it. Research paper about black holes in high school, Mr. Minowit's class. So, yeah, I have all these books. I read all these books. And I actually have a video about where I do a general, it's called Astrophysics Has Not Produced Any Real Answers Since the 1980s, when they first came out with the cosmos and Carl Sagan. And they really haven't. Just more chaos theory, gauge theory, Lawrence Krauss, absolute maniac. But I'd like to keep some of them for reference, though, okay? Natural science, this one goes back to Euclid. Old school stuff. Old school science. So science with a lowercase s, of course. Not a capital S, the religion. The Promethean religion that is over this realm. Another cool, for reference, I mean, you could say that's for reference of the firmament, what we see in the firmament. Hard for me to part with this stuff, but I also have a whole bunch of old school classicals, like Greek stuff that I got from my grandpa and everything. So that said, this is a reference point for your interest in this rabbit hole, whether it's, flat Earth, or giant mountains being titans, or even giant mountains being melted buildings, which is a big rabbit hole these days too. Okay, so I have, in my most recent video post about the towers, I cited a bunch of videos. It's under what did I put it as? Inspiration. Okay, and I'm going to do that pretty much every single drop that I have. And I'm sure I missed some awesome channels, but most of the heavy hitters are in there. That's where I draw my inspiration from. I mentioned Michelle Gibson before. Michelle Gibson's channel for Tartarian research and what we say is usurped history and changed history is probably one of the best for data point research that you can look up. Michelle Gibson. She goes over, when we say the history of the timeline is messed up, you want a good reference point for that kind of research, watch Michelle Gibson. She goes over it, and I said it before, academic level research in her on her channels. Academic level research, 100% for sure. Honestly, same thing with Philip Duzinin. That dude's an OG too. You guys like my Tartarian mug? You know where I got that from? Candor. My man, how are you doing, dude? Thanks for stopping in, bro. I appreciate you being solid earlier also. I don't even want to, that's water under the bridge, man. I said my piece with that. But you're always solid and no hard feelings against dude, yo. Straight up, it is what it is. Thank you very much for stopping in. Right, Candor. Thank you. I tried compiling a cool list, an eclectic list in this realm. So okay, right, Michelle Gibson and I like to. It's kind of why I wanted to go live, to give you guys an idea of what I plan to do with this. Obviously, I'm going to keep doing installments of my bushwhacking Tartaria because I have. I mean, here's the thing too. I also been in contact and communication with Autodidactic Campbell, because I'm super interested in this. Also, the Tartarian Meltdown channel. That dude's from straight up from Norway. He's a legend. You guys know that. Maybe you're not familiar. I always say it though, but my great grandfather was born in Oslo, Norway. My father is 50% Norwegian. He did the blood test. So that dude, the Tartarian Meltdown, is Norwegian, and he's into this. The red brick, and those guys. Now, I'm not saying one thing or another. That's another point to be made here. I'm not saying what is with this research. I'm just showing you a path, and you can take it or leave it. I send my buddies this kind of stuff, and they're always, stop sending me these stuff. It's crazy. It's like, I won't stop sending it to you. Just delete it. You tell the newspaper or the local supermarket that sends you the ads all the time every week. Do you tell them to stop sending it to you, or do you just recycle it every week? I recycle it. That's kind of what I say to my friends. I'm just going to keep sending it. Delete it if you want. Anyway, a reference point for your interest. All those channels are super interesting. He hasn't dropped one in a while, but Stellium 7, his research that he did on that mountain, I always cite it. Mount Go, and the Titans, and I did a episode about elephants, Heard Island in South Pacific, and the Elephant Islands. Of course, maybe they could be named that because they look like that, but they also could be named that because they are that. It says in the Bible, Genesis, I forget which one. Look, check out this Bible too. When I say I got a bunch of old stuff from my grandparents, talk about gravy. It's got their names in it too. Written. It probably it's got binding, like metal binding. I like to send it to Vox to have them fix it. But it's got their names written in it right there. Without giving too much away. Can you guys see that? There you go. Super thick, and it's got this is what I'm saying when I looked this stuff up. When I was looking through this, and the stuff that we talk about on Big Bear Stream and everything, and stuff that we research here, giants and everything. Oh my word. See, I just found this too, old books too. I found old books. I have a bunch of old academic books too about writing and reading, writing, and arithmetic that my great-grandparents had, that my father has. They were books from All Saints right around the block that he went to school in. It's got his handwriting on it, and like homework assignments from 1960, where the teacher would write the assignment out and handwrite it, and where you're supposed to put the answers, they put an underline. It's really cool, and some of those things fall out when I'm looking through these. When I'm looking through these books, or I'm looking through this book, and I see. It's cool. That just came out too. 1960. Some of my books are from 1980. I'll go through your chats, and that's what I'm talking about in the Bible. Look at the build out of the picture. Look at the build out of those buildings in the background. Similar to what we're researching now. It's kind of what we're saying when we see similar architecture across the whole entire realm, or at least where we are situated on the flat Earth model here, because there might be outer lands. That's a gravy topic I'd like to talk about too. What's outside Antarctica? A couple bears posted up on IG, like the outer lands, where when these Prometheans talk of aliens or extraterrestrials or whatever, they might come with the fake alien invasion or whatever. Or extraterrestrials, they're not lying when they say extraterrestrial, because effectively that's just extra land. That equates to extraterrestrial, just means extra land, and there most certainly could be extra land outside Antarctica. That's super gravy to me too. Like, what's out there? Can we ever get out there? Does the firmament extend out there? Are we sealed in here? What are these? How do these parasites have that power? There's a sweet picture of the Tower of Babel in here. I'm trying to find it. One of the quintessential pictures of the Tower of Babel that you see of when you look at it. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, now I'll talk about real quick another truth drop and recommend another video of mine that I have about truth drops in video games also. Check out the picture of that Tower of Babel. I'm sure you've seen it before, right? Now the game, I'm also a gamer, whatever. The game Shadow of the Colossus, PlayStation 2, it came out originally on, and now it's on PlayStation 4. But it's a puzzle game, but the puzzle is you got to climb on these huge colossi. Number one truth drop is that there probably were giants back in the day, because it does say it in the Bible. Like I originally got at my point, there were giants in the earth in those days. Welcome, everybody. Kimberly Preston, welcome. OIC, welcome. Laura Bear, crushing. Kimberly Preston, Eli Buchanan, thank you, guys. Legal Can-Am Bear. All right, cool. Candor, crushing. Candor, you're about to get modded, brother. Candor is now a moderator. All right, cool. Giants in the earth in those days. So I think Shadow of the Colossus, truth drop number one, giants. Colossus, mountains could be titans like Stellium 7. Not only look at his watch his series on the Titan of Mount Go being a massive Oliphant like in Lord of the Rings. Also look at his in-depth. He does. I'm not sure if he's a biologist. Maybe he is a biologist or like a paramedic or something like that. But he goes over how rocks and mud fossil stuff. That's why I cited Stellium 7 and Roger at mud fossil. Now, let me preface this by saying Roger is solid in his work. We're all putting different parts of the puzzle together. You know, I don't hold anything against Roger being. He believes in space. Okay, a lot of these guys probably maybe not a lot, but Roger still believes in space. But when I reference Roger, I reference his work that he does with the Titans and the Giants that I think were mud fossilized somehow, and that's what Stellium 7 explains too. How these rocks look like hearts. I have one. Where are they? Oh shite. Shade. Oh man. So this looks like this one looks like muscle. But the work that Roger puts forth that I cite Roger for, because for some reason Wise Up, who's a legend, believes the whole plane is the tree of life, Yggdrasil. That's a cool topic. Mud Fossil Roger puts forth the giant research where he drills into these rocks that are pretty much look like their fingers or whatever, and he gets his process, the way he explains it, seems like it does it clean. And we're all using our discernment here. Okay. Wise Up in Mud Fossil Roger could have a spat. That's cool. I think Roger's work is solid in his research with giants and everything. Wise Up is solid with his work that he does in the realm. And you know, take your information from Roger about space with a grain of salt, right? Use your own discernment. I'm not saying what is. We're just postulating here. So that said, so Roger at Mud Fossil does good giant work in mud fossilized giants. Like he's got the Colossi of Amemnon, or not Amemnon, that's Egypt. The Colossi of there's one that it looks like Gandalf with a beard, and some of it's fallen away, and it literally looks like the inside of a body. I'd say they built it that way, but Roger goes through and details how it's not. And also Tyson's Mud Fossil Adventures is really good for gigantic biology. And Stellium 7 goes over how these rocks look like they're hearts. And how hearts and body parts can be fossilized very quickly. And actually Roger, doubles down on that research and goes over how if something is buried in mud and wet, it can be fossilized perfectly as is. And he goes up and he opens some of the, Roger goes in and opens some of these rocks that look like hearts, and there's actually ventricles. And you can just look it up yourself. Skip over he does electron stuff too, and space stuff, whatever. I don't focus on that stuff, but anyway. Stellium-7 is great for that mud fossil research also. So I'm putting a lot of stuff together here and just trying to formulate some kind of grand, cohesive timeline and narrative as to what happened, because we think that there's resets, and we think that the timeline that we were given all sold in our history books. I'm not saying, we're not saying that the history teachers do it maliciously and intentionally. It's bigger than that. Okay, it's much bigger than that. Yeah, Laura Bear for sure. Faces in the mountains. So right, and the faces in the mountains. If there weren't so many, I wouldn't believe it. Look up. I mean, you guys want to write this down? I could just fire from the hip with some cool stuff here. Look up the Badlands Creator or Badlands Protector. It's in Canada, like just north of North Dakota area of the Badlands. That looks like a face in the mountain. Looks like a Native American face with feathers. You look it up on Google, it says the Badlands Protector. And it's defined as, a geological feature made from erosion. But then you watch something like Stellium-7, literally, and you think about it differently. The Badlands Protector, and there's a really cool YouTube channel called the Dictionary of Truth, where it goes through it shows how mountains look like huge giants, actually. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where there's truth drop in cinema. And this is where we can start talking about Promethean truth drops. And what you guys have questions about that, I want to see what you guys have about that, and Hollywood and how their sigil. And I'm not a cultist either. Phoenix Enigma is a great channel for that. That dude, the bald dude, he looks like a straight up Viking. Phoenix Enigma was a former occultist, practicing occultist. He knows all that stuff. But I know enough about it to like reference a little bit of it, like their sigil magic, a part of their sigil magic and their order that Aleister Crowley is credited for laying down on text and doing all that reverse type stuff, and the whole Mickey upside down is wicked or whatever, sigil stuff. And they have to tell you the truth, however odd and weird. So that's what we call truth drops, right? Matt at Quantum of Conscience is really good with that. Actually, I got to cite him also in my things. Matt is amazing. But they tell you the truth. They tell you the like giants being real. In Disney, my daughter likes Disney for now. She's 2 years old. We'll keep it at that. But they have in the Frozen 2, the mountains become titans. They awaken and they're titans, right? They're huge, massive giants. The mountains. You could just say that that's fantasy, but discerning people, think otherwise. Also, another Disney movie that cites that is Moana. Tahiti, the god they talk about, is the huge island, right? Now, mythology real? I really truly believe that. Before the last big reset, 400 years ago, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that was all real. And I think that Ovid's Metamorphosis, that Martin Liedtke did a really, really good job on, maybe a couple months back, detailed how the pictures and Ovid's Metamorphosis look like the Prometheans taken over, possibly from the Tartarians and the Rush Empire. Now, that's an interesting thread right there, too, guys. Now, we say Tartarian Empire. Philip Druzinin, who's the OG with the Tartarians, he even goes even deeper and thicker with it and goes into like the Rush Empire. You can spell it like RVSH or RUSH. That's where the red comes from. That's what would be the flag holders of the, from what I gather, of the, what's it called? The Griffin, the Red Griffin. Okay, so it seems what Philip Druzinin is saying is that the Tartars were the master masons, builders, architects, possibly, right, of the last, prior to the last big reset. I think there's been little resets here and there. The last major one, I think 400 years ago. And I think that time period is coming to an end. That's everybody's talking about. And I think the parasites lost sway and this is all the dust settling. This is their final death blossom, like the T2, like in T2, the T1000 falling into the metal. They're just going crazy right now. Anyway, so that depicts, I believe that depicts the previous to the last realm, prior to 400 years ago, usurped history. I'm not sure where I was really going with that, but whatever. Figure Hercules was I believe Hercules was a giant, and I think also Laura Bear. I think that Martin Leakey was saying that Noah was also a giant, maybe one of the last giants, a benevolent giant. And that's the thing we all think. People think that giants are. Big Bear was talking about this before when he was going off about everybody tries to ostracize. Oh, when he was doing David and the Goliath, ostracize giants. Man, I love giants. I think that he nailed it out of the park. Where national parks are possibly a treaty with giants, because you put together his David Paulides missing 411, how so many kids go missing in national parks. That could be a Promethean thing too, but it also could be, giants. Okay, we were talking about truth drops. Moana, another truth drop. Disney's crazy for it. The arc going over the Tartarian castle with it piercing the thing. That's obviously alluding to the Babel piercing the firmament, the highest, most hardest glass ceiling, like Hillary refers to. All over truth drops. What's another one I was just talking about? Disney Moana. There's a whole bunch of them, and they're kind of pervs too. Okay. We got going here. Yes, I think everyone was giant. Yeah, it seems like maybe we're getting smaller. Who was saying Conspiracy R Us is another channel I have to plug also. Conspiracy R, letter R, Us. That's really good. Hello, Erica L. Hi, thanks for stopping in. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to see, Moana has the drops for sure, Candor. Mad at Quantum of Conscious. To be honest with you, that dude originally put me on to Tartarian, or I at least heard it originally from him. I'm like, what's this Tartaria? What's this Tartaria? And then I started getting in. I found Philip Duzen and all that before all the crazy ass. This is like a year and a half ago, before all the crazy ass censorship came on YouTube, and you can actually find stuff. So here's the deal too. I have a lot of buildings in Buffalo. Another one that comes to mind is the Richardson Complex, which was the Buffalo Psychiatric Center. It's still the Psychiatric Center, but that's old school red brick Tartarian. I can go there and do a show. Effectively, a lot of the big places, I mean, I could literally make a new video for each one in the format that I do it, in detail and show how the history is not really there. Like I cited downtown Buffalo City Hall. If you guys want to do, some quick research and a real quick deep dive, not even a deep dive, but like try to find out who built Buffalo City Hall. This might pique your interest to look into why we're so gung ho about trying to find what's really going on here, and things look like they're mud flooded and terraformed and like just completely reset over and over and over again. Right on the first page of the Wiki page, or I use Infogalactic, but for the purposes of using the mainstream and seeing what they're giving to you, checking out the screen, like Matt says, check out Wikipedia once in a while, reference it against Infogalactic and stuff like that, and do searches on different websites or on different search engines. Like one of my official go-tos, because I use Google too, don't use the beast. Listen, my daughter watches, talk about that, Big Bear's like, don't support it. My daughter watches Disney. She loves Disney. We were going to go to Disney. I completely I have made peace with that, and you can judge me all you want. I will handle that when she gets older, and she will have her own discernment and be given all the tools that she needs to know what this realm is, what's going on here. God willing, I'll be homeschooling, so she'll be given all the tools. I'm in, not of. I believe that we can observe Babylon, okay, with a discerning eye. I understand the whole idea of whatever Mark Twain said. If you stare into the abyss long enough, sometimes it stares back into you. I get that. But you know what? If you're aware of the spell, it's broken at the door. I'm fully aware of what they do. And by God, this house is under Jesus Christ and our Maker. So as far as right now, that's how we roll. My wife was a very big Disney fan when we first met. When we did first meet, she had to go to a trip in Disney, and I was in Atlanta with my boys. One of my buddy who's a cop in Atlanta at the time, who's now a customs agent. So that's that. And on that note, I've said it before in videos where I can watch movies, Hollywood and stuff like that. People question. I have reservations about Pedalwood and everything. Here's how I get over that hump. I've said it before, because knowing what these Prometheans are up to and the actors that we think is really going on. But I like to have movie night with my wife. So adding on to the idea of willing suspension of disbelief, as a movie buff, you guys might know that term. Like, just completely put yourself in the position of believing in the movie, knowing that, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever, knowing that it's fake, you still buy it though, even though you still buy into it because you have a willing suspension of disbelief. It's called. Okay. Now, adding on to that, knowing what we know about these Prometheans and what they're probably up to, how do you watch their movies, right? Well, I enjoy their movies growing up. I still quote movies all the time. It's a big part of my family. My father loves movies. My brother loves movies. My wife and I like having movie night. So how I get over that hump is I say that I fell in love with and I enjoyed, and I remember the stories and the characters, right? I didn't fall in love with, and I don't know the thespians whatsoever who are portraying those characters and acting out those stories. Okay, that's my workaround. You guys might think differently. That's entirely up to you. I have no problem watching movies, Hollywood movies. I know what it is. Like I just said about Disney, the spell's broken at the door if you're aware of it, right? In, not of. We can view Babylon and not be of it. We have to bob and weave around it. Babylon is not just right out our door, it's at our fingertips these days, right? So we have to use uber discernment, and that's my take on how I deal within my own family. It is what it is. Thank you, Laura Bear. Yeah, you can see it more and more now, Laura Bear. Like even or the newest one about Onward, where they're trying to bring the father back. You could just tell. That's another thing. I love that. Now that I feel like I could see more clearly now, that knowing what this literally, once the spell was broken about what the realm really is, I feel like it almost gave us like 6 cents. Because now I want to do, like, I know Mad at Quantum of Conscience does it, but the movie drop thing, truth drops in movies. You guys remember Donnie Darko? Okay, so I forgot to go over these. I like to do more of that, but I got to get a little bit more sophisticated in my setup here. Like, because I'm really good at pinpointing truth drops in movies, and so like I just explained stuff like that, and esoteric stuff. I can't really think of it right now, but discernment is a key word. That's right. A lot of times, I think a lot of our conspiracy theorists that we are, or truthers that we are, more critical thinkers, we get like misapplied as like conspiracy theorists when we're more just like critical thinkers. We're thinking about things outside the box more so than your average, what NPC, non-player characters. Anybody watch that movie? Oh yeah, I put it out there. I want to watch that movie Aeronauts, because in my last film, anybody got gravy? Have you guys ever Flatland? No, I haven't. And I'm just talking about movies right now because I cited the movie Baron Munchausen, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I remember that movie from my childhood. I love that movie. But I thought I remembered it. I mentioned this in my video. Was it ever Baron von Munchausen? Is that a Mandela effect? Does anybody remember The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen? Now it's Baron Munchausen. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But truth drops in movies, I really like that topic. Aside from all the other stuff, rabbit holes, Tartarian research. But the movie I want to watch is, I think I'm going to watch it with my wife for next movie night, is that new one that came out, Aeronauts, about balloon travel. That's probably another, in some way, shape, or form, Promethean truth drop. These fuckers love showing their craft in their movie. It's part of their stuff. To wrap up what I was saying before about Crowley and the sigil stuff, I am not an occultist, but I know some of their sigil stuff is they like to show the truth, which is why they reverse things and everything. They don't. There's no real rhyme or reason how they will show you the truth. They just do some way. It's chaotic, but it's part of their credo. It's both their mock and their justification. That they mock us by telling us the truth, and it justifies the fact that they're makes them feel like they've cleansed themselves of it because they're showing it to us, though, right? Even though it's mixed up and jarbled in numerology or sigil, reverse type stuff. Really, there's, when people say, like, literally, it's above red and blue. I don't want to get into politics, but it's above red and blue. Trunk's my guy. I'm really happy, and I'll say this too. I'm really happy that Big Bear said that he was going to vote for Trump. I think that a lot of bears needed to hear that. I don't want to get into politics whatsoever. In this stream, it's more like esoteric stuff and rabbit hole stuff. But I'll just go out there and say that because I think as bears we're downstream from politics. But for those of us who are like cityites, and thankfully I don't live in a major metropolitan, but we have one foot in Babylon, and no other choice. I got to do what I got to do for my fam, right? So I have stake. I have stake in supporting Trunk. I can't right now. I'm 100% down for Bertaria, but right now I can't. I gotta, I connected with a buffalo bear recently who's got seeds and stuff like that, but it's too late in the season. I'm about to make a garden in my backyard, but still, I can't just completely turn a blind eye to it, especially now all the stuff that's going on with this could bring us into our next topic. With everything coming out with Pedalwood now, like I just explained, how do you watch these movies and everything? I have a workaround for that. It is what it is. Now, there's a story here with this book. I'll wrap up quickly. The story. My brother and two of my other best friends that I still talk to, that I grew up with, the 6 or 7 best friends that I still have now. Went to New York City, John Jay College, 97 through 2001. One of my other buddies actually seen 9/11 as it happened. He was at John Jay College taking a test, and he heard the explosions. Went outside and seen the fires and everything, and was in Manhattan when they fell. True story. And he was actually 100% true story. He was actually a courier for a law firm. The job that he did, he still has. If you're watching this, my homie, you know what I'm talking about. He still has his World Trade Center ID. Now listen to this story. I'll lay this down on record right now. My homie, when he was in New York City going to John Jay College, the job that he had there was a courier for a law firm. Some couriers rode bikes. You think of a New York City courier, you think of those guys riding the bikes, right? Actually, I think they outlawed that. But there were also foot couriers. And he would walk all the time. Downtown Manhattan, what's it called? Economic District or whatever it's called. And one of his deliveries was this World Trade Center, one of the 2 World Trade Centers, and he has his ID still. Now, he never realized this until afterwards, until the movie and documentary Loose Change came out. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. It's taken it back a while. That came out after 9/11 when there was a whole conspiracy thing that was happening, okay? I've been hip to this for a while. So my buddy was delivering to World Trade Center. Now, he didn't put 2 and 2 together until after the fact, but when he was delivering, he remembers specifically that because he had to walk up some flights of stairs and take the elevator every time he went to his delivery office was like on the 30th floor or something like that, and he always took the elevator to the 30th floor. A couple of weeks before 9/11, God's honest truth on my Lord Savior, one of the elevators were shut down, and he had to take the freight elevators. True story. And he thought nothing of it at the time, because this is pre 9/11, thought nothing of it. Also, it's fairly common in New York City in the skyscrapers to have elevator maintenance, right? Just something to think about. True story. That's the same dude that was in John Jay College taking a test when 9/11 happened. Heard it. Somebody ran into the school, said there's a bomb on the World Trade Center, and the entire school rushed out and watched it happen. True story. Now, before that happened, they would come back and forth and visit while they were in the city. They come back to Buffalo. My brother brought this book back, 2000. I read this book in 2000, and it's literally been a deep dive ever since then. I was still in high school, my senior year, and I said this before in previous videos. My senior year librarian, Miss Handy, God bless her, hated me. With all this hype about the protocols of this is why the synchronicity is so crazy right now with my research on this shit. Because when I say synchronicity layered across time, that's what I'm talking about. I'm on record with all my buddies and my family of being into this stuff for the past 20 years. I've literally been the conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearing nut of my boys, and one of my boys, part of this group, is my brother, my older brother. Love him to death, and he supports me for everything. You know, I have a very close family, close knit unit. I'm very blessed and grateful for that. I also am very, very blessed and grateful for the group of boys that I have. One of them is a customs agent. A couple of them own their own business. One of them is family crusher teacher, owns their own business up in Toronto. All Bears, okay, Bear adjacents for sure. Very grateful for that. But they all know, and they all bust my chops, bust my balls. But they're always asking me, well, what's really going on, Dust? What's the deal? So my brother brought that book back. I read it in 2000, and man, I believe one chapter here is the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Now, that said, all the hoopla about that right now going on with the FBI releasing that, when I say Miss Hanny, I printed out document after document after document about the Illuminati, New World Order, Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission back in the day, 2000. I was into that stuff way back in the day, back when Alex Jones was outside the Bilderberg group meeting with the blowhorn. Call them all New World Order, globalist, way back then. I seen and watched the footage of him going into Bohemian Grove when he did it, and it was out. And you ask how I did that. Do you guys remember Edgar Casey for sure? Rogan's up, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Do you guys remember? Oh man, Edgar. What was I just saying? Okay. Do you guys remember Napster? That wasn't just for music, which I downloaded a lot of music on Napster, but you can also download video on that. So I would look this stuff up, and I would look up videos of that, and you could download video. And I downloaded video of him going into the Bohemian Grove. That's how I seen it originally, back when Napster was out. So for you newbies and you young ones, go up and look at when Napster was out. I was on that. Napster was real dope because you could download video and it had a chat. You can go and chat in an open forum. It was pretty sweet. But Protocols of the Elders of Zion, layered synchronicity across time. I printed out that entire Protocols of the Elders of Zion in my library at my Kenmore West Library when I was a senior. 2 copies of it. I got the first one out, and Miss Haney caught me on the second. Caught the second one halfway through. And can you imagine? Like she was first of all aggravated, but I'm just thinking what was going through her head when she was reading it. She caught it halfway through the printing the second copy. I got the first one though. And then, long story short about that, when I say that I'm on record about having all this research for since 2000, I had to just printed out the protocols of the elders of Zion. I printed out a whole bunch of stuff regarding Illuminati. Literally, I got away from it for a little bit. Number one, because my dad confiscated my papers. So I'll get into that. I got into the whole, you start looking into the esoteric and really start getting into it. This was all on the internet. I had the internet at home a little bit at the end of it when I started getting into Napster more. But I would do this all at my library at school, and I started getting into the Moloch stuff, like the child SACRIFICE stuff. And my mind couldn't, contemplate it at the time. I didn't have the discernment. Who says discernment is key? I didn't have the discernment at the time. So what I did was, I painted that entire brush with the whole government, F the government, entire government. Now I realize there's factions and everything, and there's with my discernment, it's always a constant battle between the good and the evil. But yeah, I printed them out, and I thought that the protocols were in this book. Anyway, for truthers, this is a must read for sure. Printed out the articles, and I had just pamphlets of paper and research about the Illuminati, Trilateral Commission, all that, the Bilderberg Group, the International Monetary Fund, international bankers, the Confessions of an Economic Hitman, all that stuff. I found it and printed it all out and read it all. And then I started talking about it, the Illuminati, New World Order. Can you imagine? I was like 17 years old. Like, that's why I was getting that, but interested in it. And then I got away from it because my dad, because I was talking about it so much and whatever. My dad took my papers from me, and I still can't find them to this day. He says he still has them somewhere at the house. But yeah, so that's that. Long story short, and then all this stuff's coming out now. It's crazy. Like I said, I got away from it a little bit. It was always in my mind, but life happens, and I still had it in the back of my mind, and I still would always pay attention to it. But and then I met my wife, and the rest is history. And then this stuff all starts coming back out with Epstein and everything, and I'm like, whoa, I'm hip to that kind of already a lot. So it's cool to see this whole group and this movement come up. Red Pill 78. I'm a big fan of that. Q. I'm a fan of the Signal and stuff like that. Yeah, I was into it more when they came out, but it is what it is as far as a signal for patriotism. I appreciate that. I like that. I like all those. I do like the shows that follow that. I'm not going to get into it too much. I play the wall now with a huge chunk of salt is what I say about that. And that's what I'll say about that. Yeah, there you go, Kander. Confessions was crazy. And then you couple that with the international bankers and, the Council on Foreign Relations. And even one of a major part of the puzzle was when Big Bear broke down the Tavistock, how that's the whole propaganda arm of it, and how they shape narratives in the whole, Tavistock mixed with Disney and the whole subliminal thing, and man, Sage of Quay's breakdown on how the Beatles, nothing more than just a corporation, heck bent on Tavistock mind controlling fucking boomer generation, man. Boomers too. Another thing about boomers, I had a post out there. Maybe you guys seen it. Maybe this will drop some more topics here. I'll see what you guys are talking. Edgar Casey, yeah, interesting. I definitely know about Edgar Casey. Now was he a construct, or I mean that dude definitely is a legend if he said all that stuff. also was talking about Atlantis and stuff like that. And I like to talk about giants and Hyperboreans. But what was I just talking about Big Bear? Oh boy. Anyway, giants. What was I just saying? Anyway, giants. I put a post out about boomers. Okay. Um, Hilarious how Big Bear is like about BJs and Buicks. So I put a post out on Social Galactic saying that boomers worked for the weekend BJs and Buicks, and it looks like we're gonna have to work to save the realm. But I'm strangely comfortable with that. Hey, it is what it is, right? If we had the opportunity to do that, I really believe the doom and gloom that people are putting out there and the vax and everything, and it's always going to be consent. We have a leg up in our Bertaria, getting food and everything. I have Niagara River. The Lord provides for His, right. I have Niagara River. I'm not worried about fresh water, stuff like that. That doesn't ping for me. We're a smaller metropolitan city. The crazy shit hasn't kicked off here. We're a border city in Buffalo. I don't think they're going to light that fire here. This whole thing about the famine and everything, that could just be a Promethean scare tactic. But it still goes to show, have your stuff ready. I have my prepare kit here, right over there in my basement. Be ready, okay? Genius idea for Beartaria. What Big Bear started, absolutely genius. He's the man. He's the fucking man. All right, so let's see. Let's get some ideas. Yeah, okay. And back to my real quick. I have a lot of places to go to in Buffalo. Every corner is a Tartarian church. Looks like it's mounded up. I have the thick, really crazy mud flood evidence underneath the Peace Bridge. I'd like to go onto the railroad tracks again, hump the railroad tracks, and see how I believe the railroad tracks were canals back in the day. I think that they were all straight up canals. Old maps of Africa show they look like the same grid pattern, but they're canaled out. Autodidactic has that. This Autodidactics channel to show on Africa. Yep, absolutely. OIC, be prepared. If nothing else, right? Handle your business. All you can handle is within your own sphere of influence, right? Your nuclear family, your family. That's it. You're worrying about. I don't even watch the news anymore. I follow my certain channels and stuff, and I get my news on YouTube and everything. And I don't have cable, and I don't watch that bullshit propaganda ministry of truth, Promethean wing. It's unbelievable to me that they have the power that they do, and Trump can't completely just change the media. It goes to show how shit everything is all controlled. I guess that's all I'll say about that. Be prepared for sure. It's crazy how much control these Prometheans have, and I say good on Trump for. I think that dude is straight up trying to kill these people, choking them out. I really believe that. Say what you will about the man. Bears are downstream from politics for sure, but those who are still halfway have a foot in Babylon. Hey, we got to do what we got to do, and I think Trump's handling his business. So that's all I'll say about that. Straight like that. All right, Matthew Scoville. Welcome, brother. Also, they worship Baphomet. Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, and they're able to put statues of him up, right? Because freedom of speech. Meanwhile, we're tearing down statues of our history, but they got statues of Baphomet up in Portland or whatever, or in Moloch going at the Vatican. Look up the Vatican's Assembly Hall. It's shaped like a snake. I see their work. The whole show, I've dropped this before. The show, look up this. We'll talk about truth drops. If nothing else, I'm just putting stuff out there for ideas. Look up if you guys want to watch something interesting. Look at with a discerning eye. The TV series, The Exorcist. It was only with Gina Davis. Only one season. Complete truth drop for sure. Black Eye Club and all, about how the Catholic Church was infiltrated by the Prometheans. Okay, 100% in my opinion, for sure. I watched it with my wife prior to me even being awake. because obviously we like watching stuff, and she likes the horror genre. Yeah, I used to like it too, but now that I have a discerning eye, I can just see what it is. Anyway, if you're aware of it, the spells don't work. So just read the synopsis of the TV series Exorcist #1 with Gina Davis. Okay, it's a complete truth drop, in my opinion, of how the Roman Catholic Church was usurped by the snake, and it goes hand in hand. It goes right along with their sigil credo of showing you their craft, and saying, "This is us. You if you abide it, then you are accepting, and you deserve to be, treated the way that we treat you, and you deserve, Netflix and Disney and all that stuff." And it's a vicious cycle, and they are psychopaths. They are psychopaths, and they have no. They are completely inverted. The inversion is absolutely real. What we believe is vile and disgusting, they promote, and they believe is beauty. Literally, it's literally like that. Um, I'm not going to go. I got about 5 more minutes here, and I'm not going to go over an hour. So, for the sake of having this under an hour and being in a certain algorithm or whatever, do you guys have any questions? I know I've been just going off crazy. Let me just do this really quick. I got definitions of Tartary in here, but I want to show you guys something about my natural history here. About giants. Let's talk about giants right quick. There was a post I put out about one of the bodyguards that Trunk has. Speaking of Trunk, I don't want to get into politics, but just an observation. Autodidactic Campbell had this in one of his last recent podcasts. One of Trunk's, I get excited about this. One of Trunk's bodyguards looks like a straight up giant. You guys got any gravy on that? Looks like a straight up giant. I understand deep fakes or whatever. You have to use your discernment. It just looks like a regular footage of this dude standing next to the Air Force One engine, and the dude looks like a giant, like 13 feet tall. And when I say that I have, this is a natural, this is called The World by Fireside, okay? And it's very old. One of the bears on my last nuked Twitter account found the date of this. For some reason, there's no copyright in it, but it tells I've went over this before in previous videos, but I don't think in live ones. It tells natural things in the natural world, and it has gravy like this. See if you can see that. The Greenlander in his boat, but the man looks Asian. So we're talking about usurped history. It's saying the Greenlander in his boat, and that's who they're saying is the Greenlander. You see what that says? Can you read that? I mean, what's going on there? You see that? Also in this natural history, it talks about Patagons. Okay? Patagons is Patagonia. Patagonia means the land of the giants. It's in southern Argentina, southern tip of South America, where I believe Drake or somebody or Magellan, one of the explorers, sailed around the southern tip of South America and seen these Patagons and wrote about it in his account. And the mainstream history academics say that it was just a BS story to get people there for settling, whatever that means. But they wrote about it. And I don't know if it was Magellan or Drake, or maybe I'm not even saying the right one. But they've seen Patagons. They're listed in Natural Book here as being real natural things. Also, which reminds me of Big Bear's brother. Now, Martin Liedtke was talking about this. That looks like does that not look like an avatar tree? It says a giant trunk. Giant trunks. Where do they go? Now, if nothing else, this is just to show you that this world wasn't as we're told. And I believe it was a lot more fantastical and mythological than we were once told. Star forts, airships, airships being docked at old train stations. This is what I think is on the horizon as long as we hold the line here in this crazy ass reset right now. Because I believe the Prometheans have lost sway. They have their 400 years are up. They've had time to try to usurp history, and their whole entire system is falling down, collapsing. All right, what do you guys got? Isaiah 31, 1:9. I like Isaiah's 6:8. And I heard the voice of the Lord say, who shall go, and who shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. I love that. Yeah, Owen's definitely a giant in stature and in moral fiber, for sure. All right, what you guys got? I say it all the time. Trunk isn't hired to be our moral compass. He's hired to do a specific. Exactly. Man's piloting the ship that's bankrupt, doing his best while these Prometheans just send salvo after salvo after salvo. Trunk is trying to deal with China for sure. I straight up think it was an attack, whether you believe in the COVID or not. Yeah, I subscribe to terrain theory. I don't want to click any Al Gore rhythms, but I'm cautiously optimistic that Big Bear's been batting 1,000, and he said gravy's going to flow after the suck. So I rest with that. Okay. Well, it's been. I hope you guys like that. Maybe I was kind of all over the place, but maybe letting some insight and some positive reinforcement here that I think things are going to be all right. I know things are going to be all right because my synchronicity tells me that. My spidey sense tells me that. The layered synchronicity across time with all this stuff coming out now, and me finding books that are synchronistic with the research that we're doing right now that have my great grandmother's name on it, that have Tesla in it and stuff like that. We're in best apocalypse ever for sure. Thank you, Laura Bear. I really appreciate you coming by. Legal Can-Am Bear, OIC, Candor. Guys, thank you very much. It's been awesome. I will be putting out another Bushwhack and Tartari with Berserker Bear. I'm trying to do it every Sunday. As long as, technical difficulties aside, I'm trying to get you a new one every Sunday. And also I wanted to say, if you guys have ideas, my email address is in the about section of my YouTube. Okay. If you guys peruse Buffalo and you guys see a cool building, or even maybe an area from an old map or whatever, if you're looking old stuff up, email me and I'll make a video about it. That's kind of what I want to do with this. It'll be kind of like a running thing. And I have connection with a bunch of Mudflood researchers too. So we'll try to get this realm figured out. And airship tours outside the ice realm coming soon from Buffalo. Bertaria airship flights to the ice ring and beyond. All right. I'm going to sign out right now. Please, Rogan's up. Share it on out there. I appreciate all your help. Love you all. Be safe out there. Watch your six. After the dust settles, gravy flows. Okay. Take care. That's right. Thank you very much again, Laura Bear. You guys crushed. Candor Bear, thanks a lot. I'll catch you on the next one. Berserker Bear out. And as always, I will report back.